They followed the rules, packed their bags, boarded planes, legally. They built lives, found work, enrolled their kids in school, and now, America wants them gone. Mass texts, surprise home visits, 4 a.m. knocks in the dark. Across the country, families from specific nations are being quietly told, leave, immediately. But why now? And why these countries? This isn't about visa overstays or illegal border crossings. This is something much bigger, a sweeping, silent directive that's already underway.
$204,000.
Targeting immigrants from 10 specific nations. And the most shocking part? Some of them arrived legally. Could your country be on the list?
Stay with us, because over the next few minutes, we're breaking down the entire list and exposing the brutal truth behind this crackdown. What's really happening here isn't just immigration enforcement. It's something deeper, and it's already begun.
Number 10. The Republic of the Congo. What if silence wasn't peace, but a warning sign? No headlines flashing, no international outrage, just people disappearing, quietly. One plane ticket at a time. That's exactly what's happening in the Republic of the Congo. You probably haven't seen this story on the front page. There's no civil war, no dramatic regime change, but somehow, this quiet Central African country has landed squarely on America's immigration blacklist, and most people have no clue. So what's really going on? Why are Congolese nationals suddenly being targeted for removal? Here's the truth. The U.S. has slammed the visa doors shut. Deportation notices are being handed out quietly across multiple states. Officials say the Congolese government hasn't been cooperating, refusing to verify identities, blocking deportees from returning, and ignoring return flights. In other words, the U.S. tried to send people back, and the Congolese government didn't want them. That triggered a harsh response, one of the most severe penalties in immigration law, a total visa ban under Section 243D. And this isn't just targeting criminals or people who overstayed their visas. It's hitting students, workers, people who've lived here for years under legal protection. Some were just weeks away from applying for green cards or starting new jobs. Now, they're being told to pack up and leave, fast. By labeling the Republic of the Congo as non-compliant, the U.S. has put every Congolese national under intense pressure. But the bigger, scarier question is, what does this mean for everyone else? Because if a quiet, low-profile nation like Congo isn't safe from sudden mass removals, who is? If the U.S. can cut ties this swiftly, without debate, without noise, then who might be next? Number 9. Afghanistan. They stood shoulder to shoulder with American troops, interpreters, drivers, aid workers, people who put their lives on the line to help the U.S. mission. And for a brief, flickering moment, America kept its promise. The doors were opened. Refuge was offered. But now, those same doors are slamming shut. Thousands of Afghans who made it here through humanitarian parole are suddenly being told it's time to leave. No extension, no appeals, just a quiet notice and a ticking clock. The same country that once welcomed them is now turning its back. And it's not just bureaucratic oversight, it's deeply personal. These are people who built lives here. Some started small businesses, others enrolled their children in schools, hoping they'd grow up in safety and stability. And now they're facing deportation, just like that. Why now? Why are even America's own allies, those who literally risked their lives for U.S. soldiers, on this list? The message is loud and clear. Afghanistan is out. Under this new order, Afghans are being denied future entry, and many already living in the U.S. are now on uncertain ground. It's not just shocking, it's devastating, and it begs a bigger, more unsettling question. Is this just the beginning? Could this signal the rollback of wartime protections for all? Or is Afghanistan simply the first domino to fall? Number 8. Equatorial Guinea. Oil-rich, lavish palaces, a ruling regime shrouded in silence. But now, that silence is costing people their futures. So why is the United States suddenly ordering immigrants from Equatorial Guinea to leave? There's no war, no refugee crisis, no surge at the border, and yet, people from this small, wealthy Central African nation are being turned away at airports, denied visas, and quietly told, "Your time here is up." What's really behind this? Dig a little deeper, and you'll find a tangled web of diplomatic friction. U.S. officials say Equatorial Guinea has flat out refused to take back its own deported citizens, blocking flights, delaying paperwork, and stalling negotiations for years. That refusal triggered one of the harshest moves in the U.S. immigration playbook, Section 243D visa sanctions. The result? Not just a freeze on new visas, but a forceful push to remove people already here, students, workers, even longtime residents. No grace period, no chance to adjust status, just cold, bureaucratic notices to pack up and leave. It's not just numbers, it's families. Many have American-born kids, some are in college, others are stuck in the endless backlog of green card applications. They built lives here, they believed they were safe. But now they're caught in a quiet crackdown, swept up in a geopolitical standoff most people have never even heard about. And here's the most chilling part. There was no big announcement, no press conference, no fiery speech from a podium. This all happened quietly, fast, and without fanfare. Before we move on, take a second to like, share, and subscribe. It's the only way we can keep shining light on the stories no one's talking about and give a voice to the people who are living through them. Because Equatorial Guinea might just be one name on this list. But what's happening here is part of something bigger, a silent, sweeping reset in U.S. immigration policy. And if this pattern holds, your country could be next. Number 7, Chad. Military cooperation, oil deals, counter-terror ops in the Sahel. For years, Chad has been a steady, if quiet, U.S. ally in Central Africa. But apparently, loyalty doesn't buy you safety anymore. Right now, Chadian nationals in the U.S. are being told to leave. No delays, no appeals, and if you're applying for a visa, don't bother, the door's been slammed shut. So what happened? Why is a country that's been fighting terror with the U.S. suddenly on the chopping block? Officially, the explanation is about security. U.S. authorities claim Chad has poor passport controls and growing instability within its borders. But here's what's odd. This isn't about war, it's not about a migrant surge, it's not about breaking the law. It's about a quiet shift in trust, one that no one's openly talking about. And it's hitting hard. Students, workers, even asylum seekers who followed every rule, who thought they were protected by their legal status, they're now caught in the fallout, blindsided. And just like the others we've talked about, there was no big media splash, no dramatic rollout, just a silent policy shift, leaving families and individuals scrambling. Before we continue, hit like, subscribe, and share. We're pulling back the curtain on what's really happening, and your support helps us bring these buried stories into the light. Because Chad, it may be number 7 on this list, but if even longtime allies can be dropped this fast, who's really safe? Number 6, Iran. What do you call it when the country you fled from won't take you back, and the country you fled to suddenly wants you gone? That's the impossible corner thousands of Iranians in the U.S. have just been forced into. Right now, the U.S. has issued a full visa freeze on Iran. All categories blocked. No student visas, no business visits, no family reunifications, nothing. And for those already living legally in the U.S., many are now being told to leave, permanently. So, what changed? This isn't some brand new feud. U.S.-Iran tensions have been simmering for decades. But in the wake of recent security scares, allegations of cyber attacks, proxy operations, even sabotage plots inside the U.S., Washington has gone quiet and hard. No press blitz, just action. Homeland Security quietly flagged Iran for total non-cooperation in deportation cases. What that means, when the U.S. tries to send someone back, Tehran ignores the paperwork, blocks the flights, and shuts down any diplomatic discussions. That stonewalling triggered Section 243D sanctions, one of the most severe measures in U.S. immigration law. Now, anyone from Iran without airtight legal status, they're on borrowed time. Even some green card applicants, people who've lived here for years, followed every rule, are now stuck in limbo, unsure what comes next. But here's what makes this case especially heartbreaking. For many Iranians, going back isn't safe. Dissidents, former asylum seekers, outspoken students, if they step off a plane in Tehran, they risk arrest, or worse. And still, some are being told their legal protections don't matter anymore. It's time to go. So you have to ask, is this really about passport paperwork? Or is the US sending a much louder geopolitical message, using human lives as the medium? Because Iran isn't just an adversary on the world stage anymore. It's become a red line in immigration policy. And for anyone tied to it, they're standing right on the edge. What happens next? It could rewrite everything. Number 5, Eritrea. A knock at the door before sunrise. No breaking news, no public warning, just a quiet message, it's time to go. That's the reality Eritreans in the US are facing right now. Even those who've been here for years, working, studying, raising families, are suddenly being swept up in a silent but severe directive. No scandal, no court drama, just a cold, quiet purge. So why Eritrea? What did this small, isolated country do to end up on America's immigration blacklist? The answer? Non-cooperation. For years, U.S. officials have accused the Eritrean government of refusing to take back its own citizens, even after courts issued final deportation orders. Flights were blocked, paperwork ignored, talks went nowhere. And now? The U.S. has hit back with Section 243D sanctions, one of the most extreme punishments in immigration law. The fallout is immediate. All visas, immigrant and non-immigrant, are suspended. And for Eritreans already here, the orders are landing quietly. Leave voluntarily or face forced removal. But this goes far beyond dry policy. For Eritreans, going back isn't just relocation. It can mean surveillance, prison, even torture. Eritrea is often called the North Korea of Africa. No free press, no political opposition, mandatory military conscription that can last a lifetime. Many fled those very conditions, some as asylum seekers, others as refugees, escaping indefinite service or repression. Now those same people, who built new lives in safety, are being told it's over. And the most alarming part? No headlines, no debates, no one's talking about it. Just a list and a wave of departure notices, handed out one by one. So here's the real question. What's next? Could this crackdown grow? Could more African nations be quietly added to the list? Because if Eritrea, one of the most vulnerable immigrant communities in the US, can be targeted this swiftly and silently, no one is truly safe from what might be coming next. Number 4, Libya. How do you deport someone to a country that barely exists? No functioning government, no central authority, no safe airport, no one on the other side to even receive them. And yet, that's exactly what's happening to thousands of Libyans living in the United States. The message from immigration officials? Leave, now. But the terrifying truth? They have nowhere to go. For years, Libya has been a nation in chaos. Rival militias carving up territory, institutions crumbling, a government split in two, East versus West. The U.S. Embassy shut down long ago. There's no visa processing, no return coordination, no roadmap home. And still, Libyans have been added to the deportation list. Why? According to U.S. officials, Libya has refused to cooperate with deportation efforts, ignoring requests to take back its nationals. That non-cooperation triggered Section 243D sanctions, the same harsh legal penalty we've seen applied to others on this list. The result? No visas, no green card processing, no protection. Libyans are now being told to self-deport or face forced removal. But here's the brutal twist. For many, going back could mean death. Kidnappings, forced militia conscription, entire airports controlled by armed factions. In some areas, stepping off a plane makes you a target. And still, removal orders are going out. Quietly, relentlessly. Student visas are being denied. Business and tourist applications automatically rejected. Even Libyans with long-term U.S. residency are suddenly finding their documents frozen, renewals blocked, status questioned. So why push people out when there's no safe way home? Some say it's part of a larger foreign policy reset. Others believe it's all about political optics, sending a tough message domestically by targeting immigrants from so-called failed states. But what's undeniable is this: Libya's spot on this list is no accident. It's strategic. And for those trapped in the middle, the clock is ticking. Before we move on, like, share, and subscribe. These are the real stories, hidden, painful, and powerful, and we're here to uncover them piece by piece. Because if Libya, a country without a government, can still be used as a departure zone, then we need to ask, what exactly is the endgame? Number 3. Haiti. They ran from kidnappings, from gangs, from a country where food, fuel, and safety were barricaded behind burning streets. For many Haitians, coming to the U.S. wasn't about chasing opportunity. It was about staying alive. And now, after surviving all that, the message they're getting is devastating. Go back. Why now? Why Haiti? And why are even those who followed the legal path being forced to leave? Here's the unfiltered truth. The U.S. government is starting to revoke humanitarian parole for over 500,000 migrants, most of them Haitian. These are people who were granted entry under urgent, life-threatening conditions. Many arrived just last year, in 2023 or 2024, with official permission. Children are in school, parents found jobs, some families were finally starting to feel safe. But in 2025, that lifeline is being cut. DHS has made it clear, temporary humanitarian status means just that, temporary. And now, those under it must either self-deport or face immigration enforcement. No green card, no protection, no promises. And here's the terrifying part: Haiti has collapsed. There is no functioning government. Gangs control much of Port-au-Prince. Hospitals have been burned, roads are mined, entire neighborhoods are war zones. Sending people back isn't difficult. It's dangerous. Yet the U.S. is preparing flights. Deportation orders are being issued, and ICE has already started making arrests for those who won't leave voluntarily. This isn't just a visa freeze. It's a reverse wave. A new phase of policy that doesn't stop people from coming in. It starts pushing them out. So now the question is this the moment U.S. immigration turns on even its most vulnerable? Because if Haitians, people fleeing collapse, chaos, and violence, can be forced back into that storm, who's next? Before we continue, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. It's how we keep exposing the real stories the headlines miss and the policymakers avoid. Because what's happening to Haiti isn't just immigration policy. It's a warning. And what's coming next could be even more explosive. Number 2, Somalia. No passport, no papers, no embassy. So how do you go home when your home country doesn't even acknowledge that you exist? Right now, Somali nationals in the U.S. are being told to leave. But this isn't just a deportation story. It's a logistical nightmare, soaked in fear. Somalia has no centralized government. Whole regions are controlled by warlords or extremist groups. Even the U.S. military has labeled parts of the country as non-permissive zones, areas too dangerous to enter. So the question is, why is the U.S. now forcing people to return? Here's the truth. For years, Somalia has refused to accept deportees. The government says it can't verify identities or safely reintegrate people coming back. In response, the U.S. invoked Section 243D, halting all visas for Somali nationals and escalating removal efforts against those already living here. But this isn't just targeting new arrivals. Many of the Somalis caught in this crackdown have lived in the U.S. for years. Some were born during the Civil War, came here as children, and have never even set foot on Somali soil. And it gets worse. There are confirmed reports of deportees being dropped off in Mogadishu, with no family, no identification, and no support system. Just left to survive in a country where foreign returnees are often seen as outsiders or targets. Extremists, gangs, militias. Somalia is not just a place of hardship. It's a high-risk zone. Sending people back there isn't enforcement, it's abandonment. Somalia's presence on this list isn't just a warning, it's a flashing red light. Because when deportations become this disconnected from reality, when the system sends people to countries with no government, no safety, no infrastructure, we have to stop and ask, what is this policy actually protecting? And who is it leaving behind? What we've uncovered here isn't just a list. It's a complete shift in U.S. immigration policy. Families uprooted, promises broken, quiet removals while the world stays silent. If this can happen to allies, to refugees, to people who've lived their entire lives in the U.S., then the message is clear. No one is truly safe. So if you found this eye-opening, don't scroll away. Like, share, and subscribe, because the more people who see the truth, the harder it becomes to hide it. Let's keep exposing what they won't say out loud. Number 1. Myanmar. What do you do when escaping a nightmare still isn't enough to save you? For thousands from Myanmar, the trauma didn't end when they fled. It began again. Military crackdowns, burned villages, ethnic cleansing. They ran, some through jungles, some by boat, risking everything. A few made it to the United States, believing they'd finally found safety. But now, they're being told, go back. Why would America turn its back on people escaping one of the most brutal regimes on Earth? The answer lies in quiet policy shifts, decisions that never make the headlines but wreck lives in silence. Myanmar has been placed on the U.S. list of non-cooperative countries, those that refuse to accept deported citizens. And because the military junta won't take people back, the U.S. has responded by invoking Section 243D sanctions. Translation: visas are blocked, green card approvals are suspended, deportations are accelerating. No delay, no mercy. And here's what makes it truly chilling. Many of the people affected are Rohingya Muslims, an ethnic minority that's already been the target of genocide. Others are students, families, or asylum seekers fleeing a regime that's been globally condemned. Some have pending cases. Some are already in detention, but none are safe because going back to Myanmar isn't deportation. It's potentially a death sentence. We're talking arrest, torture, disappearance, or worse. And yet, the flights are being scheduled, people are being processed, and the world, mostly silent. So ask yourself, if Myanmar, a country the U.S. itself has condemned for crimes against humanity, can be treated this way, who's truly safe? Because this isn't just immigration enforcement, it's the quiet erasure of mercy.